us, we compute. We got everything you need, us street. Unemployed for the traffic of the
Traffic Avenue. The show for me and you. Mondays and Fridays, ooh. The Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue. The show for me and you. Mondays and Fridays, ooh. Traffic Avenue.
Enjoying the best, the city, relieve your stress, so yes. Let the music soothe the soul and keep it going just to refresh. Buckle and enjoy the ride from 2 to the half of the 5. Mondays and Fridays, hopping alive, but we gon' have a ball, you can text your guys. Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through.
Weekend news, unparalleled coverage. Citi News on 97.3 FM. Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Citi News. It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru Sanda Amadu. Tonight, I'm here with
Nashika Caesar.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes, secondary schools resume today, but not without the challenges of old. The Conference of Heads of Assisted Schools, Charles, is already complaining about food shortage. Also coming up, all is not well for the NDC in the Aswasi constituency of the Ashanti region, as some party executives fight the MP, Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak. And later on Eyewitness News, government has still not issued an official statement on American rapper Meek Mill's video from the Jubilee House, but the governing party's director of communication says the filming was done without permission. If that's the case, how did he film? Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more of this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
Chamber of Telecommunications announced that implementation of the revised electronic transfer levy begins tomorrow.
That's in 50 minutes from the business desk of Citi FM and Citi TV. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a number of affiliate stations. In the Upper West region, we are on Tumpani Radio 88.5 FM in Nadoli, as well as Jirapa on 96.1 FM. We are also live in the Upper East region on Rikas 92.1 FM in Bongo Namo. In the Northern region, we are on North Star Radio 92.1 FM in Tamale. In the Northeast region, we are on Nobia FM 98.1 FM in Nalerigu. In the Western region, on Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady. Sky Power 93.5 FM also in Takrady. If you go to the Ashanti region, we are on Focus 94.3 FM on the campus of the KNUST in Kumasi, and Orange 107.9 FM also in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we are on Sela 97.1 FM in Babala, and Holy 98.5 FM in Aflao. The show is interactive. Do join us with your messages on WhatsApp 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. Go to Facebook, watch our live feed, and drop your comments there as well. Citi FM's Facebook handle is broadcasting Eyewitness News for you live. This is Eyewitness News broadcasting from Adabraka in Accra. We are also around the globe on citinewsroom.com. My name is Umaru Sandamadu, here with Nashika Caesar. We kick off with the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools. Senior high schools resume today. Students have been returning, especially boarding or boarders, for academic exercise for this particular term. But there are challenges already. Nashika, tell us more.
A Conference of Assisted Secondary Schools, CHAS, says most senior high schools across Ghana are yet to receive funds from the Ghana Education Service, whilst the full complement of period Heads of many senior high schools have struggled to provide food for boarding students following the delay in disbursement of foodstuff from the National Food Buffer Stock Company. With secondary schools reopening today, the president of CHAS, Reverend Father Steve Owusu Setre, is worried academic work may be hampered following the developments.
We expect the money that we need to take off of the students to hit our account. In fact, we were promised that the money we should go to the bank this morning at 9, and the money should hit our account. But as we speak, we check, and no school has received any money from the bank. I called the minister spoke with him, and they said they are still working on it, and we should still wait. And the students are also coming in their numbers. The food also trickling in bits. Some regions, I am told, around 12 o'clock, some schools have not received anything yet.
That is concerning food. Yes, but have you got in touch with the buffer stock?
Oh yes, we have been in touch with them, and what they say is that they are also supplying, but taking the remains to the ground. Some food items have not reached the schools. In my school, I have received 4 items only, and I have not received any money. I checked the bank, and there's nothing in my account. So right now, we don't know what to do. The students are coming. We are still waiting for money, and we are all in a kind of effect. So I am talking to the Director General and the Minister to give us priority as to what to do. So that's where we are now.
And how much are we looking at in terms of the food?
The funds, every school is given according to population. For example, if you are giving money for perishable, they give it to you per your population. So I right now, as I stand here speaking with you, I don't know exactly what will come to my account. I'm waiting to see it, and then I will be able to speak to that with my Director General. Okay,
so what is the plan now in regards to the funding? Supposing the monies do not touch the account, hit the account today on time.
That's why we say that trying to get in touch with the Director General, and then he will give us instructions as to what to do. Now that students are coming and we don't have the money to feed them. So let's wait, and I'll get in touch with him, and they will communicate to us as heads, and then they will tell us what to do.
Okay.
Because that's one is not in our power to instruct headmasters, headmistress that, do this. It's only the Director General, the Minister, who's supposed to tell us what to do. So we wait on them to tell us what to do, and only if we don't have the money and the food.
Okay.
Now, some ratings, I speak according to ratings. I cannot speak for this because I speak for the ratings. In fact, Ashanti region, for example, I have not received anything. I have not received sugar. I have not received oil.
Have they given you time, a duration where?
No, what I have been told by the minister and the buffer is that they are on their way doing the distribution. So they've not gotten to so many schools. So we are still waiting.
That was the president of the Conference of Assisted Secondary Schools, CHAS, Reverend Father Steve Owusu Setre.
Let's hear more on other issues affecting senior high schools. The think tank known as Africa Education Watch says textbooks have not been released to basic and senior high schools, and this is affecting academic activities on campus. Let's speak to Kofi Asari. He's the Executive Director of the Africa Education Watch. Mr. Asari, welcome to Eyewitness News.
Hello, good afternoon, and good afternoon to your audience.
Good evening. Before I ask you to comment on the textbook issue, what's your comment on the food issue? Because school resumed today, and the head teachers are saying there are already problems.
Well, it's not new. It's always expected. It's a funding issue, as we've always indicated. The last time I checked, the government is still owing suppliers about 200 million, even though the government has done, tremendously well to reduce the debt from over 400 to 200. But in sum, there is a financing issue, and so far the financing issue is not solved, we will continue to experience delay in the supply of foodstuff to schools.
So it's a money issue. It's not a lack of foodstuffs issue.
It's a financial issue. If you have the cash, you get the money. It's a financing issue. And if you look at budget execution, by the time the budget was being read, only 60% of funds meant for free senior high school had been disbursed. And if you look at the history of disbursement of the Ministry of Finance in the past 4 years, it is only in 2017 that the entire goods and services budget line of the Ministry of Education, under which free senior high school is funded, was released. We've been doing a budget execution of about between 60 and 65% since 2018. Which is the budget that funds free senior high school and other interventions in basic education. So far as we are having challenges with releasing approved funds, and we are having challenges with budget execution. I'm sorry, what we are experiencing will continue to be a symptom. We will persist until we are able to release approved funds to run all government programs in the education sector, including feeding students under the free senior high school program.
At IGF, do you think it will make sense to say schools should pre-finance these things so that the central government releases the funds later?
Well, I'm not aware of any formal arrangement, any framework for collection of IGF in schools. I am aware that any education is free, and so parents are not supposed to pay the money as a matter of obligation. And so if other schools have various ways of getting IGF, that obviously is through voluntary means. And so just that, even though that IGF may be available to a school like a Protect or a Category A school, the same may not be available to proper secondary school. And so cannot be used as a basis to intervene, in a resource deficit situation.
Okay, now let's move on to the other issues that you have raised. That has to do with textbooks in the schools. What have you found?
Let me first indicate that we haven't raised any issue about textbooks in senior high school. The issue is about textbooks in basic school. Recall that about 6 months ago, the Minister of Education went to Parliament. About 9 months ago, the Minister of Education went to Parliament and assured Ghanaians that by September of 2022, basic schools were going to receive textbooks. We have been monitoring the distribution of textbooks since September. And at the end of the term, which was at the end of December, we didn't find textbooks in all the subjects. As we speak, in all the schools we monitored, in the northern region, and the T, and even the Greater Accra, the South, and the West, there are limited amount of textbooks in math, English, and then science. These are the only 3 subjects that have received textbooks, out of about 11 subjects in basic schools. So we are concerned that we have entered year 4 since the new curriculum was rolled out, and we still have less than 30% of the textbooks required in our school. I think the 3 textbooks are math, English, and creative arts that we found in the schools we visited, in T and in the northern region, and in parts of Greater Accra. We are worried. Even in schools that textbooks were available, the highest ratio was about 1:3, meaning in a class of 120 in a school in Amasaman, Papasi area, Amasaman, you find that there are 40 books to be shared by 120 students. For textbooks, it's 1:1. So we are doing less than 50% of textbooks required in the schools we visited. There are 1 or 2 schools in OT that did not have a single textbook in the curriculum. That's why we have called on the Ministry of Education to ensure that the government finds money to procure textbooks for the school, because we are informed that the issue is a financing issue. It is not that the textbooks are available in all the subjects and all the quantities are in Accra or in the regions and are not hitting the schools, but it is simply the fact that there is a financing challenge.
In the case where there are no textbooks at all, so you said that at least 3 subjects the textbooks are available. In the case that there aren't textbooks for other courses, how are they teaching the students? Is it the case that the teacher would have one single textbook that he uses for the whole school? Is that how it's working?
In that case, they normally use the field guide alone to similar to what they have been doing in the past 3 years, which we all stating the ministry's intervention will bring in the textbooks. The issue of textbook is an issue that I believe lies at the core of government's political commitment towards basic education. Because we know textbooks are expensive, it is true. But we also know that it takes a commitment, to finance education at that level, to put in that cash and put for textbooks. Of course, we are discussing the matter of textbooks not being available. No, NACA has already approved textbooks in all subjects in schools. So there are textbooks available for all the 11 or so subjects in basic schools. The issue is that government is not making money available to procure all the textbooks for close to 5 million children in primary schools and kindergarten. And that is the problem. It's not about textbooks not being available. There are textbooks available on the market. Private schools are using them. But public basic schools are not having access to them because the government has no money to buy all the textbooks. The government has only supplied a few, less than 50% of what is required to facilitate in import subjects, irrespective of the beauty and the quality of the standard-based curriculum. And going through a population, and the reality is that we have 40% less than what we had last year. And so parents will definitely have to support basic schools. And we have asked the Ghana Education Service to develop a framework within which parents can provide support to basic schools so that school heads will be accountable to whatever funding they receive from parents. So far as the framework for parental contribution, what we call inclusive education resource governance, should not be exclusive. What I mean by shouldn't be exclusive is that Kofi Asari shouldn't be denied an opportunity to attend school freely because his parents couldn't pay. We must have a framework, a voluntary frame it like that, so that headmasters will not just collect money or contributions from teachers, as it happens in many schools anyway, but then
was supposed to have ended last year December. Is government still going to pay that?
Well, if we have not concluded with the negotiations, what pertains now will continue.
Because we were supposed to end in December last year, 15% cost of living allowance.
But the circumstances have not been normal. And like I'm saying, we are working very fast. Tomorrow, God willing, we'll share any other information.
Bright Wokubobe is the Deputy Minister of Employment and Labour Relations. Now, government says its first consignment of fuel for gold for oil deal is expected to arrive in the country by next week. Deputy Lands and Natural Resources Minister George Dukas tells Citi News all necessary arrangements have been put in place. The Vice President last year announced that Ghana will begin trading its gold for oil to reduce pressure on the forex. George Dukas says all must support the move.
Yes, we've put all the lines together Even today, we're meeting on it, and we believe we're much ready to kickstart it. And it's a good call for the nation, and it's also to cushion the importance of our currency. And I think all hands must be on deck in accepting this. And I believe it also go a long way in regulating the downstream part of mining.
When are we going to see the first consignment? Yeah.
We thinking of next week, if I'm not exaggerating.
By next week, what volumes?
That is yet to be determined, and that will come out of our meeting today.
The aircraft is talked about. Can you throw someone?
Can you?
The aircraft.
Yes.
That was the Deputy Lands and Natural Resources Minister, George Muriku Duka. Away from that, the Member of Parliament for the North Tongue constituency, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has expressed doubts about the government's ability to secure debt forgiveness from its creditors. He believes the government's decision to continue with some projects considered non-essential, such as the cathedral, would thwart any attempt to debt forgiveness. The government suspended payment on most of its external debts in December last year as it tried to plug its balance of payment deficits. According to the Finance Ministry, it will not service debts including its Eurobonds, commercial loans and most bilateral loans as part of an interim emergency measure. Reacting to the government leaning towards debt forgiveness request, the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament holds the view that the move will not succeed unless the president implements some stringent measures.
We should all be ashamed. A country that had debt forgiveness not too long ago under President Kufuor, HIPC. We declared highly indebted poor country status and got debt forgiveness, and even got HIPC benefits in the process. Less than 20 years, see where we are. Aren't we ashamed? Behaving like some spoiled children you inherit from your father who's left so much for you. See the natural resources we have. How many countries are blessed like we have? Oil, timber, cocoa, gold. What don't we have? And we got debt forgiveness on top not too long ago. We are back to the Paris group. And we are not ashamed. And if they had not even been exposed, they will have been landing with these chartered luxury jets, begging for debt forgiveness. Remember, that's the first time I caught him. He had gone to France to ask for debt forgiveness, and he went there with a chartered jet. And this is a country. You are begging for debt forgiveness, and yet you tell Ghanaians in the face and the international community that vanity projects like the National Cathedral, you won't stop it. If the president does not change his conduct, his pronouncements, his attitude, I doubt that he'll get any debt forgiveness. If this appeal will work, they don't want to hear things like, we are going to continue with the National Cathedral, we will not reduce the size of government, all my ministers are performing excellently, and all of those statements and conduct are really inimical to any serious effort at debt forgiveness.
The MP has been relentless in his bid to ensure accountability on the construction of a national cathedral, and he told Citi News that he estimated the project to cost over 1 billion Ghana cedis and not the budgeted $4 million.
The latest revelation I made, 28.2 million Ghana cedis has been paid to one Carrie Summers, who is an American. We have a consultant for the United States. What is the correlation? Cathedral. Did Jesus Christ pass through the United States? Because of this consultant for the United States, we just hand over 28.2 million. Can you believe that? Then they issue a statement. And the statement is even worse. They say that, Okudzeto-Ablakwa is misleading the public. Carrie Summers is not responsible for fundraising, but he was paid the money for coordination, to coordinate the Bible Museum and the Biblical Gardens. Jesus Christ. Holy Moses.
I shall not mention the name of the Lord in vain.
But this one is not in vain. It's 28.2 million. The Lord will understand. Hey, are we that wealthy We don't know what to do with our money. Are we under some curse? Taxes which are being misused. 339 million cedis cash withdrawn from the consolidated fund. But that is not all. My estimation is that billions, because the cost of demolitions have not been added. The cost of compensation has not been added. And all of these contract escalations, the tax waivers. So what's going on here?
You had the NP for North Tong constituency, Samuel Okujetu Ablakwa. Now, the concerned staff of the Controller and Accountant General's Department in all 16 regional chapters have today petitioned its leadership and the Ministry of Finance over non-payment of honorarium. The staff indicated that they have denied their 2021 and 2022 honorarium for the first time and are therefore serving notice to the authorities. In a letter cited by Citi News and presented to the ministry through the regional directors, the workers revealed that they will resort to a series of actions if denied the payment. Here are excerpts of the statement read by Citi News' Akusi Ochre.
Having been denied our 2021 honorarium for the first time in the history of Controller and Accountant General's Department, we, the concerned staff, wish to unequivocally state that any attempts by the management and the Ministry of Finance to once again deny our hard-working staff of this age-old solace would not be tolerated. Staff would be left with no option than to embark on a series of legitimate actions, including abstaining from the upcoming National Accounts Validation Exercise and also the Government of Ghana monthly salary validations to get this allowance paid us. We are by this petition serving notice to the management and also the Ministry of Finance to, as a matter of urgency, get the matter addressed, or we advise ourselves. All staff of the 16 regions of Ghana are on this date presenting this letter to our management and the Ministry of Finance through the regional directors, calling on the Controller and Accountant General's Department and the Ministry of Finance to do the needful by paying the 2 years, 2021 and 2022, honorarium with immediate effect to avoid the repercussions of our intended actions.
Those were excerpts of a statement released by staff of the Controller and Accountant General's Department in all 16 regions of Ghana.
This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. Let's talk about the mining sector now. And former President John Dramani Mahama has taken a swipe at his successor, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, over his recent defense of the Akunta Mining, a company owned by Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP, Bernardine Chiboziaku, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi. The president absolved Akunta Mining of any wrongdoing, stating that the company was not engaged in illegal mining anywhere in the country currently. But former President Mahama, in a statement on his Facebook page, said the conduct of the president of absolving his appointees from blame even before the conclusion of investigation was unacceptable.
That penchant by the president to absolve his appointees and other close associates of any wrongdoing, as he has done with the ongoing investigations into the operations of Akunta Mining Company, is a serious dent on the already deteriorating image of the office of the president. As though proud of the dishonorable badge, the clearing agent Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has yet again justified the appropriateness of his nickname with the seeming presidential exoneration of Akunta Mining, a company owned by a member of his political party NPP and accused of illegal gold mining in the country's forest reserves. The shocking impudence is how and when he even did that at a public event called the country's Catholic clergy. Fortunately and unfortunately, we are told by the owner of Akunta Mining that the minister has explained to him they were forced to unwillingly act against his company because of public pressure from the National Democratic Congress, DNDC, CSOs and NGOs. He also very alarmingly said the president called him ostensibly to appease him over government's action and that the office of the special prosecutor cannot touch him. This is a sad commentary for a country that has in the past been held up in Africa as the poster boy for rule of law and democratic governance.
That is Kwekwe Duamansa of the Citi Newsroom reading excerpts of a statement issued by former President John Mahama and posted on his Facebook platform. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka, in Accra. There's more ahead. Please stay with us.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Oh, Jack, now, where are you in a hurry to?
Child, I'm going to Imperial to do my car insurance.
What's happening there? Because Info and Yaba also told me they're going there this morning for their car insurance.
Masa, you haven't heard. Now, the Imperial is the name in insurance in Ghana here.
Really?
Share. Imperial General is saying, come insure your vehicle with them at any of their branches or agents or even online from now till the end of March 2023 and get yourself handsome rewards, fuel coupons, special souvenirs, gift vouchers, and many, many more. And here's the catch. During this reward period, you will also get a free 1-year life insurance cover in addition to your motor insurance cover.
What the wow! So does it include with the taxi drivers and the e-taxis?
Hey, everybody qualifies. So just come insure your car and you are done. Call 0302-788-955 for further details. T's and C's apply. Imperial General Assurance. Solid protection.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back to Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Umaru Sandam here with Nashi Kasiza. Let's go to the Ashanti Region constituency of Aswansi. We are told that the NDC constituency executives, at least some of them, are not very happy with the Member of Parliament, who is Minority Whip, the Honorable Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak, and this is leading to some disagreements there. Hafiz Tijani is our correspondent in the Ashanti Region, and he's joining us now. Hafiz, please take it away and tell us what you know.
So prior to the elections of the constituency executives in the Aswansi constituency last year, the Member of Parliament, Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak, made an appeal to the constituency executives not to contest the incumbent executives because the constituency is surrounded by what he called hostile constituencies, meaning stronghold constituencies of the New Patriotic Party, their main opponents in politics. So that is the Oforikum constituency, the Kwabri East constituency, the Ejisu constituency, the Menchia South constituency, the Menchia North constituency, and the Oforikum constituency. So he said that he was making the appeal so that if the current incumbent executives or the incumbent executives then had gone unopposed, they could win power in 2024 so that anyone who wants to contest in the next primaries can do so. But that did not go down well with some members of the party who also had intentions to contest in those elections for the various positions. So the division started from there, and the Member of Parliament still held to his appeal, but most of them did not listen to him and went ahead to contest. We spoke to him that day on the elections in October last year when he made some of the comments and backing his suggestions with some of the comments he thought that could convince the party members not to contest.
When you have a constituency like Aswansi, where there's a lot of hostility, there's a lot of difficulty. If all you do is to just open it up for contest, you destroy the constituency. I'm only praying that we should overcome whatever challenges that we are having. But believe me, it's not healthy. It's not healthy at all. Because, when you advise and people don't listen, and I ask, okay, I advise you don't listen. Now, whether you go or you win or you lose, can you come and say you are going to advise me as an MP? No. I can say, and you see, what I keep saying is that even somebody is a trotro mate, and he does a trotro mate for 18 years, don't just assume that person hasn't gathered any experience. Having been in this for over almost 2 decades, you cannot assume that I don't have any experience. So what I say, because I can bet you didn't hear any chaos because all the branches in Aswansi, 206, decided to take my advice. And there was no contest. They sat among themselves, so and so is dead. What do we do? Then the branch, they bring their heads together and settle on one person. So I asked them to do the same at the constituency because we are in a very hostile environment. If we're in the Volta region or when we're in the northern region or Upper East, where at least the party is strong. Now, I mean, Menchia South, Menchia North, Ejusu, Kwabiri East, Subi, Oforukrom, these are constituencies that are very hostile to us. And we are in the lion's den. Why should we fight among ourselves? My hope and prayer that we'll overcome these challenges and be able to forge ahead as a group that will overcome their challenges. But I can tell you, obviously, it stares at us that we have a challenge ahead of us.
So, Hafiz, that's the Member of Parliament, Honorable Muntaka Mubarak. So this is what started the problem, or this was when the problem was, expanding?
So this was what started the problem in terms of the understanding some of the members of the party in the constituency had when the Member of Parliament put out this suggestion. They were saying that he was trying to infringe upon the rights of some people who were trying to also contest the incumbents, and that he had favorites among the incumbents, but he denied that he had favorites. He said that he was the father of the party and he had no interest, but his interest was that they should allow the incumbents to go so that the next primaries they can contest because of the way and manner the party was trying to maybe attain victory in the 2024 general elections. That was his suggestion. So the party members also thought that he was trying to gag some people and he was trying to prevent some people from contesting. And so after the elections, when things did not go well for the MP, when he was suggesting that the incumbent should be retained, new executives took over, like the chairman position, the communications officer, the women organizer. All of them were changed and new entrants were in. They came and then took over the reins of the party. And since then, the youth have been laying claims against the MP that he is working with the former or previous executives at the expense of the current executives according to the party structure.
Let's leave it here. Thank you so much, Hafiz Tijani. Let me hear now from Hafiz Tijani is our correspondent in the Ashanti region. Let's hear from a spokesperson of the NDC youth in the Aswasi constituency, Umar Harris. He's joined us on the line. Umar, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so your difficulty is that your MP is not the right person to be your representative. Is that the position?
No, not really. That is not what we are trying to put across. In fact, he's been our Member of Parliament for a long time, so we cannot just out of the blue say he's actually not fit to lead the party. But there are other reasons, there are other concerns that we are seeking redress to, so that at least we can make the party more attractive and for the youth, so that our agenda to see His Excellency John Dramani Mahama clinch the victory come 2024 is possible. But we believe that when things are not actually ironed out well, the achievement of that goal might be a little bit troubled. And that's basically the reason why we air our frustration, so that the leadership of the party would come and salvage the situation before it gets out of hand.
So what has he specifically done that you have difficulties with then?
All right. In the first place, I think I listened to the audio you played. We believe that as a Member of Parliament, you're supposed to be a father for all in a constituency, and therefore the proper principles of democracy require that everybody is given a fair opportunity to contest in any election or whatsoever. The assertion of when you open the gate for everybody to contest would stop misunderstanding or internal wrangling. It's not an excuse. That is what democracy is all about. So if you decide that you are not going to allow that to happen, it brings much more bigger problems than the problem you are trying to escape. So I think, yes, during the constituency election, he came openly campaigned against certain candidates, some candidates who he says they are not his favorites, openly meeting delegates. And then he even said it that if they, vote in some of these guys, he's going to resign from being a member of parliament. He said that facing the media. He said that on the day of the constituency election.
And did these guys win? These persons
the chairman he so opposed. He won convincingly. The woman organizer he opposed won, and the constituency communication officer he won. And these are the key positions he wasn't ready to negotiate, and they won. You came openly and then you threatened the people that if they vote them, you are going to resign. You didn't resign. You make the administration very ungovernable, and that's exactly what we are going through right now. Because the man is not actually ready to work with them, and he's proving it by his actions. Because, I don't know, can you imagine an MP coming into the constituency where there is an elected chairman, and he's still working with the outgoing chairman? It's quite unfortunate, and he has succeeded actually in dividing the constituency into two, because some of the executives believe that he is doing the right thing. Those who don't actually like the idea of the contest, who were contested, and then for God being so good, they had the opportunity. Some also were able to, sneak their way through by going unopposed because nobody actually contested them. He's divided the constituency, and his posturing right now and his public utterances is not actually helping matters. So we think that if we allow such things to continue, where we have two factions in the constituency, you even find it very difficult to build a consensus as of now, because at least by now, after election, the chairman should be able to set a system. At the constitution, he needs to do certain appointments, form his government, and then begin to work. Now, the MP has his own sect. He also has his. So even building consensus, even in constituency meetings, is difficult, because others are doing the bidding of the member of parliament, not what is even in the interest of the good people of Aswati. So we believe that if nothing is being done about that, it's going to be a problem. And I don't see any reason why a member of parliament should determine to the constituents who they want to lead them. Just as we didn't consult, nobody told us to land on him. He can also determine who we want to lead us. That is not fair.
The elections are over. There's a new crop of executives. You say that some of them are not in his camp, but you also have a difficulty with his relationship with the former chairman. What do you think, as a member of parliament, he can do, or what do you want him to do?
Well, I think after the elections, the chairman who lost made certain unwarranted commentaries on various media houses, tagging the chairman who won, Faisal Dauda, as being financed by the MPP. And therefore, he reiterated that the MP cannot work with such a person, and the MP will continue to work with him, and he is still working in his capacity as the chairman. He made that comment. And the MP never came out to debunk that statement. He never came out to debunk that statement. We know and the MP has a tradition where wherever he goes, when he's in a constituency, he moves with at least his chairman is rest assured, an organizer, and any other executive. Since they started, there have never been any occasion where we've seen a movement between the chairman and the MP. There have never been anything like that. When the people begin to call for that unity, the chairman called for a reconciliation meeting where the MP was part of it. Pictures flagged out, and then people thought it was all right. And yet, so chairman MP began to, undertake certain projects. During the Christmas, he had a program for the Christian caucus. He didn't, factor the, constituency chairman in the planning. He did spectacles distribution. He didn't consider the chairman. We came out, we spoke. And yet, still, what is happening currently is, we have, NDC has a constitution. And in the constitution, it has stated in Article 47 that when a member of the party has a problem, issue with any executive, you need to seek redress through the party structure. If it is constituency, then you petition the regional. If it goes beyond the regional, it goes to national. But all these things were breached, and then they quickly took the chairman to court over a legitimate appointment of 5 co-opted members to be part of the constituency executive committee. They took him to court. The MP did not utter a word. He didn't come out to even condemn that thing. It's like, again, they called for the arrest of the chairman in a public domain, and all these things. An MP is not saying anything. We want to see commitment from the MP by coming out to call the wrongs wrong. We are not seeing all that. He's been quiet. He goes about doing his own campaign, doesn't talk about the bad things and the unfortunate things that is happening in the constituency. And it is a problem.
Okay, please be on the line. I want to speak to Abdul Haq. He is secretary to the Member of Parliament. Mr. Hack, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. The accusation is that your boss did not support some executives, which executives won, and he is not working with them. So there is a two-faction, or the NDC has two factions in Aswasi now, the Muntaka faction and the chairman's faction. What do you know about this, and what can you say?
First of all, I'd like to say a very good evening to your cherished listeners who are currently listening to yourself. All the allegations put out by my colleagues are nothing to write home about. They are completely false, and there is no evidence to support what he's saying. What is currently happening in the constituency is an issue which I think, some people are trying to be insubordinate. You understand? After the reconciliation which took place in our constituency, the Honorable Member of Parliament, availed himself. He moved from his office and went to the constituency office, meet each and every, the former executives and the current executives, where pictures are all over the social media. So what he's talking about, I don't see the head and tail of what he's talking about.
He organized an event during Christmas, a member of parliament, without inviting the chairman. That's one of the accusations, correct?
That is one of the palpable falsehoods. I can put you on record. There is a picture where there is a video circulating on social media where even the chairman himself spoke and even spoke the good out of the member of parliament. You get it? Now, the organization of the program, if you take our constitution, when it comes to issue concerning organizing the program, there is a portfolio in which the person who is in charge, that is the constitution organizer. Alaja Anyans is our constitution organizer. He was the person who organized with the organization team. Just recently, our party issued a directive that all appointees should be maintained. And he worked with the organization committee. The chairman was present. Each and everybody was present. So what is he talking about?
Let me ask him, Mr. Harris, what are you talking about?
We all know that Aswasi is a very traditional constituency. I heard him loud and clear. It has always been the tradition of Aswasi constituency. Nothing goes on without the involvement of the chairman, and my colleague can attest to that fact. So if a chairman who has been elected by the constituent is in a constituency and you invite him to a program as a guest without knowing it, and even do you know what happened before he was invited? He was just invited to come and participate in a program he knew nothing about. What is the plan and how it came about, nothing. So he decided that he was not going to attend the program. And we were like, no, it shouldn't be that way because we are all forging for this reconciliation to work. The fact that you were not consulted, your input was not even welcomed. Let's try in as much as possible to organize a meeting with the MP and question him over the reason why he's doing things without involving the chairman.
But the chairman was eventually invited, wasn't he?
I'm coming. He had a meeting with them and the chairman asked him why he's doing that. I can tell you on authority that the MP acknowledged that, yes, all those things were wrong. And he apologized and then they should let everything sink. That is because they wanted the chairman to be present. Because without the presence of the chairman, it's going to look like, yes, what people are saying that there's a problem in the constituency is actually true. So we asked the chairman, since he has acknowledged that he's made a mistake and he's not going to repeat it, you have to attend the program. That is the basic reason why the chairman attended the program.
So you insist that there's no peace between the chairman and the MP?
Whoever tells you there is a peace, you see, we shouldn't be lying to ourselves.
Abdul Haq, let me go on the other hand. Abdul Haq, is there peace between your boss and the chairman?
Come again, please.
Is there peace between your boss, the member of parliament, and the chairman?
There is absolutely no case as we speak with you.
I mean, is there peace between them?
Exactly. There is a peaceful coexistence between the MP and his constituency chairman.
When was the last time they met and shook hands?
Oh, I think at the program, where the Christians amount delegates of branch executives organized, their party. The chairman and the MP met. They laughed, they spoke, and then what? All the things that they said was totally to achieve one purpose, and that is what? To make sure that there is peace in the constituency.
I see. So for you, there is no problem. This group led by Omar Harris that says there is no peace and this is going to affect the constituency and the NDC. What are you going to say to them?
And that's absolutely, as I indicated, is totally false. As we speak with you, our Swansea constituency is very peaceful as far as the party is concerned. You get it?
No problem. That's your position. I want you to speak to your colleague directly. He says there's no peace between the two, and that would cost you the constituency. What would you say to him? He's hearing you. Speak directly to him, and other people think like hhim.
I will repeat it again. As I speak with you, the constituency is very, very stable. Only just this Sunday, the constituency chairman and the member of parliament were all together at the funeral of one of our respected, member who passed away, I think, on Friday. So the issue is saying I don't simply understand. It seems to be giving a wrong information. Maybe you might be talking for a different constituency, but not a constituency.
Very well. Thank you so much. That's Abdul Haq. He's secretary to the Honorable Member of Parliament for Aswasi, Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak. Mr. Harris, you've heard him. Conclude for us.
All right. For me, what I would say is when your father is dead and you try hard to say he's asleep, that is your own case. For me, I believe that sometimes marketing your sickness is a way of finding a lasting solution. If he thinks that when he knows deep at heart as a young guy that there is a problem and he is pretending that there's no problem, that is his problem. But I believe that as young people, we can try to bring a different narrative where we can be doing our politics with total honesty. But I know, I can say on authority, Citi is a big, media house. You can do your own investigation and you will attest to the fact to what I'm saying. You have some of the audios already. So that is what I will tell him.
Very well.
Because we believe we want to win power. So if he thinks that the way the constituency is running as of now is okay for him, then that is his problem. But some of us are actually poised to see that we've won power and we all can get jobs too.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us. That's Umar Harris. He speaks for Consent NDC Youth in Aswasi. Earlier you heard Abdul Haq. He speaks for the Member of Parliament, the Honorable Muntaka Mubarak. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Business News is next, and then there'll be Point Blank. Please stay.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News, brought to you by First National Bank and powered by citibusinessnews.com. I am Nashika Caesar. Let's settle for the details. The Chamber of Telecommunications has indicated that the implementation of the revised electronic transfer levy will begin on Wednesday, January 11, 2023. Government, during the presentation of the 2023 budget, announced a reduction of the e-levy rate from 1.5% to 1% and wanted to remove the daily non-taxable threshold of 100 Ghana cedis. Parliament on December 21, 2022, approved an amendment to the levy. Speaking to Citi Business News, the executive officer of the Chamber of Telecommunications, Ken Ashigbe, said the implementation of the new rate begin tomorrow.
The Commissioner General has issued a directive for the effective date of implementation to be Wednesday, the 11th of January. So from the 11th of January, if you send any mobile money to anybody else, the 100 cedis daily exemptions would still apply, but now you would be charged 1% instead of the 1.5%. So if you send, let's say 200 cedis, you would get an exemption of the 100 cedis. Then you would pay 1 cedi for that extra 100 cedis you have sent.
Beginning tomorrow, are we going to see charges for payments less than 100 cedis?
No, so it's the same thing. So initially there was a proposal to take to look at those limits, but when the bill was passed into law, those limits were still retained. So if you send less than 100 cedis or you send up to 100 cedis, there's no e-levy charged on that.
He had the executive officer of the Chamber of Telecommunications, Ken Ashigbe. Moving on, a leading financial services group, First National Bank, is collaborating with its international payment partners to resolve transactional differentials on some accounts. About a week ago, First National Bank embarked on an exercise to resolve and reconcile debit card transactions carried out in December 2022 and early January 2023. This exercise required some exchange rate adjustments to customer balances with subsequent debits for transactions done on Binance.com, a cryptocurrency exchange. This, however, resulted in foreign exchange adjustment and the effect on account balances of some customers. In a statement issued by the bank, Head of Marketing and Corporate Affairs, Delali Jitieno, noted that the firm is working to resolve the issues as they are in talks with their payments getaway partners to address these concerns. Now, a ranking member on the Parliamentary Select Committee on Trade and Industry and Member of Parliament for Elembele, Emmanuel Ama Kofi-Boah, has described the President's appointment of Ken Ofori-Atta as the acting Trade and Industry Minister as a slap in the face of the Ghanaian business community and does not exude confidence among businesses. Mr. Ama Kofi-Boah said the poor performance of the finance minister, which is the reason for the difficulties Ghanaians are facing, coupled with the numerous hostile taxes he has brought on the business community, makes him a wrong choice to act as trades minister, hence called on the president to immediately reconsider that decision to bring some confidence to the business community.
Well, the acting appointment of the finance minister to the Ministry of Trade and Industry, quite frankly, was a surprise to a lot of people, including myself. Because number one, I think for Ghanaian businesses, it's a slap in the face, all of them. Now, let's just go back. This is the finance minister that over 100 MPP members of parliament had called for his resignation. They were disarmed based on the fact that he should be allowed to continue negotiation with the IMF. He is a finance minister who just survived essential motion. This is a finance minister that, quite frankly, has led us into the economic mess we are in. We still cannot find our way starting this new year. We don't even know where we are with the IMF negotiation. The Trade and Industry Ministry is a very critical one. We already know the challenges that businesses are going through. We know the huge challenges with the inflation rate, with the forest challenges, and a whole lot of issues. But specifically with this finance minister, this is the finance minister that has flip-flopped on the issue of benchmark value.
That was the ranking member on the Parliamentary Select Committee on Trade and Industry, Emmanuel Ama Kofi-Boah. Now, the Concerned Farmers Association of Ghana have lauded the efforts of the Minister of Food and Agriculture, Dr. Efriye Akoto, for his contribution towards developing the agricultural sector. Reports say the Minister, Dr. Efriye Akoto, will tender in his resignation letter to the President today. His decision comes after Trade Minister Alan Tremartin resigned from his position to focus on his presidential ambitions. Speaking to Citi Business News, the president of the Concerned Farmers Association of Ghana, Nana Obuade Boatin Bonsu, said Dr. Efriye Akoto has served farmers well.
Dr. Efriye Akoto has paid dues. I think he's the most long-serving agri-minister so far that we've had with this kind of time. Planting for Food and Jobs Act, it started. We all know the challenge of the fall army when came in, and then the first phase wasn't all that good, but during the latter part it was well in a way that now it has come to stay. So with his tenure, I think that he bringing out the planting for food and jobs, preparing for food and jobs, he has done well. But then at the end of the day, there's a lot to be done, because now as I'm speaking, the poultry farmers and other people are even crying that things as it is are not as it is, which we need to put in more effort to it. So he has paid his dues as it been going, and then the one coming is what we have to look at, because we don't have to play politics with agriculture.
Nana Obwade Boatin Bonso is the president of the Concerned Farmers Association of Ghana. Finally, tax analyst Jeffrey Okanse is projecting that government could generate about 9 billion cedis with the implementation of the withdrawal of the discount values at the ports. He explains that the amount was lost at the port annually due to the application for markdown of benchmark value and other customs rulings. Jeffrey Okanse has been speaking to Citi Business News.
So I'm saying that we can rely on these provisions that the minister announced plus more. First, talk about the removal of the benchmarks, the 30% discount on import values of general goods, and then the removal of the 10% discount on home delivery value of used vehicles. The first point to make is that we lost about 9 billion when we actually applied that discount and granted it to importers. So if you automatically would speak to figures, then it means when you withdraw it, you are going to be expecting to recoup about 9 billion plus more when you put such policies in place. And automatically, it would also mean that you would want to see whether the policy is in line with our constitution and then also international trade agreement, which is perfectly in line, that the World Trade Organization's own rules allows for the country to apply.
He also urged government to intensify tax collection from the informal sector, with particular reference to business activities that are carried out during the night.
I think we should focus on the night and dawn economy. The revenue mobilization in Africa, we've always said that, look, there are people who do their business in the evenings and at dawn. For example, these women who cut goods from the hinterlands, they bring goods worth about 50,000, 100,000 and 60,000 TDs worth of plantain, cassava from their cutting of big truck loads of foodstuffs. And they do their business at dawn. You go to the market, you go to Malata, all these people come at dawn and then they offload it to the small mini trucks. And they are done with business by 4 a.m. or 5 a.m., by which time the tax authorities have not started their work. And this economy is a thriving economy. When you pass through Circle, you pass through the various night markets we have. People sell phones along the Tito lane in Circle at night. And these people are doing good business. All these market spaces do come with taxation and they have been left off the hook.
Jeffrey Okanse is a tax analyst. And that's all for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News, which was powered by citibusinessnews.com and sponsored by First National Bank. My name is Nashika Caesar. Up next is Point Blank.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Counting a population of over 1.4 billion people, a vast wealth of natural resources, and brilliant minds, welcome to Africa, where our collective prosperity is very much achievable. This is why the Africa Prosperity Network, under the auspices of the President of the Republic of Ghana and the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, presents the Africa Prosperity Dialogues, dubbed the Kwewu Summit. From the 26th to the 28th of January 2023, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo will host some of his colleagues, heads of state, over 500 business leaders and social sector leaders on the continent and in the diaspora for the Africa Prosperity Dialogues. Themed AFCFTA, from ambition to action, delivering prosperity through continental trade. Register at www.africaprosperitynetwork.com.
We're sorry to interrupt this program for a breaking news story. Information reaching us is that the whole country has been thrown into a state of joy and excitement about the new look of Total Energies lubricants. Our correspondent Kwame Owusu is standing by to bring us the very latest developments. Kwame, what exactly is the situation where you are?
Emmanuel, I must say there's a huge crowd here with drivers and customers extremely excited about the new Total Energies lubricants bottle. I have with me here one of the drivers. Hello, boss.
Yes,
you are live on Quartz 202.1 FM. Tell us the reason for your joy.
My name is War, and for 10 years, I use only Total Energies lubricants for efficiency and performance of my car engine. With a new bottle, it's easier to read, carry, and pour. New bottle design and color, new label, new cap, and security features with a QR code. Massa is the same superior oil quality. Challenge, this is performance at first sight.
So you heard it right. Total Energies lubricants bottle have been entirely redesigned into a modern and premium pack to give you the best experience. Reporting live from the capital, this is Kwame Owusu.
Quartz, keep your engine younger for longer.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Minutes to 1900 GMT. This is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. I am Umaru Sanda Amadu. Tonight on Point Blank, we'll talk about two issues. Data Bank has reopened, having closed following threats on staff after the debt exchange program. We'll be hearing more from the bank. But before then, let's talk about Meek Mill. Meek Mill is an American rapper. He came visiting, went to Afrochella, visited the presidency, said hello to the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and after that, went on a frolic of his own, moving from door to door, corridor to corridor, room to room, space to space, occupying the whole Jubilee House, filming, videoing, singing, dancing, jumping. That has led to widespread condemnation and outrage from the Ghanaian population over the actions of the rapper and the fact that the videoing was done in the Jubilee House. The presidency has not spoken officially on the matter. Meek Mill has apologized. So let's hear from the party that is in government. Richard Ahiagba is Director of Communications of the NPP. Mr. Ahiagba, welcome to Eyewitness News, the Point Blank segment.
Thank you, Omar.
I've seen you quoted on various platforms suggesting that Meek Mill did not have permission to do what he did. Can you confirm that you said that and explain to us, please?
Well, Omar, thank you and good evening to your listeners. I think we're speaking in context. And so when you look at the video and all the production that went with it, you would assume that there was a setup, there was an elaborate effort to bring camera people, everybody moving around, trying to do a production the way you know music videos are done. That is not what happened here. There was an instance where, as you discussed, an individual visited and in that visit took certain videos that he was not authorized to do and then went and placed a song on that. And I think that context is what we really want to emphasize, and that was what I actually put out. Understanding that the individual in question himself, realizing that he stepped out of bounds, he used the opportunity afforded him to record those beef video and then superimpose the music on it and make it appear as if there was a setup at the Jubilee House for him to record his music the way it appeared, the final product appeared. So that was the point we just wanted to underscore, because I understand the outrage that greeted that, as if the Jubilee House was opened for him to come and set up here, people moving up and down, and they were doing it. It was not like that.
So are you suggesting to us tonight that the video we saw, even though he was looking at the camera and singing and rapping, that did not happen in the Jubilee House, and that he was videoing himself and later slapped music over it to look as if he was singing and being recorded live in Jubilee?
And I'm not sure why you think that was the case.
No,
And I
because you
think
said you said that he filmed and superimposed his song on it. So which means that when he was videoing, he was not singing or rapping like we saw. For instance, when he stood behind the podium, he was rapping, and we saw him doing that, gesticulating and opening his mouth, and words were coming out. Are you suggesting that he just did that in what the musicians would say miming, and then later slapped the music on it?
I think you've described it better than I could have. And so
that's what happened. So he didn't sing and video himself in Jubilee House.
No, there wasn't a production set up like how music. You should call a musician here and let them tell us how they do their music production.
How they do their music production? The little I know, they bring cameras, they bring lights, and then they play the music, and then the rapper or the musician would sing along. So you're saying that this did not happen?
That is not what happened. Okay. And you saw that the individual himself apologized for that effort. And if it was an elaborate effort where he was granted that authority and permission to do so, he wouldn't have come out to apologize for it. He would just say that, you asked me to do it, I did it. You knew what you were signing up for. And so therefore there will be no basis for him to apologize. But I guess the important thing, Omaru, to focus on was that the individual here and the space within which you saw this whole thing happen is a public space. I think that's the banquet hall of the Jubilee House where public events are held. And the podium behind which he stood is what every visitor to the banquet hall to speak or to do anything uses. And their visit really was in furtherance of the year of return. So it was it was a legitimate presence they have there, and then the indiscretion is what is led to what we're seeing. And I side with Ghanaians in the outrage, but what really we need to cure that outrage is the fact that the Jubilee House, per my understanding, did not open the doors to say that come here and record your video, do whatever you can, and then there was a day set aside for them to come and do that. It was something that he did without permission, and the product has come to public notice. He's realized that he stepped out of bounds, and he's apologized and taken down the video. I think that's where we need to focus. There are other conversations we can have around it and say, okay, well, is that a reform or review of Jubilee House protocols that can be looked at? Yes, that's a legitimate conversation we must have, but I think that we should move beyond the appearance of saying, I've heard some political commentators create this as though that the Jubilee House opened the door out of total recklessness and say, okay, come and record a video. That's not the case. What happened here is something that was not acceptable. The individual himself realizes that he stepped out of bounds and has apologized and consequentially taken down the video. I think that is a good place to start from, and we can ask other questions about going forward, what we do.
Richard, it's actually scarier hearing you say that he didn't have permission to do what he did, and yet he did all of that. I mean, if I came to the Jubilee House without permission to do a video, and I did a video not just in the conference room, but in the corridors of Jubilee House, in the rooms that are not accessible to ordinary people, at the frontage of the huge building. And I was not alone. I was with a number of men, maybe 7 at least, and we had a camera, and we didn't have permission, and we could do all of that. And I'm sure, give or take, that would take at least 30 minutes? You are saying there was no permission? That's actually scarier than if they even had permission.
No, they have the legitimate access to visit the Jubilee House. So all the screening that may have been done was done. And it is not factual that they were in private rooms. Where they were seated was usually a reception, waiting, holding room to go to a certain meeting. And where they stood by the podium is the banquet hall, which is open to the public. So both places are public places where anybody have going to the Jubilee House for any business. You can be held there to wait. So it's not
Richard, I've been to the Jubilee House a number of times. I have never been granted access to the front of the Jubilee House, the side facing the Christ the King Church. That gate is ceremonial. Nobody goes through there. But we saw them there singing, and they even used what looked like a drone at that place. Did you see that part of the video?
I think that if you want to go on this tangent and try to nitpick and talk about this issue, you can do that all day. But a substantial issue.
No, Richard, I'm not doing that all day. You are just saying to me that you see, we have to explain it in context. The video is 47 seconds. I have just explained various places where the video was taken, and I'm saying that if they didn't have permission and they could do that much, I wonder what they could do if they had permission. And the question is that you are not allowed to enter the Jubilee House with recording devices, according to what our correspondent at the Jubilee House, Sami Yafi, has shared with us here. I have been there a number of times. My phone was taken at the entrance before I was allowed to go in. If these people were not supposed to film, why did they come in? In fact, McMill himself on his social media, hold on a second, said that he had a small camera with him, which was, and he said it was a kid. I think he said a kid was the one holding the camera and filming. So it wasn't something that was secret after all.
Okay, so for what I know, Omar, where you would go in the Jubilee House where your phones are collected from you are designated. The banquet hall where they were, unless there is an event where there is an express authorization for people not to bring their phones in the program, your phone will not be taken from you. If it's a public discussion, presentation and all that, your phones will not be taken from you because you are going to the banquet hall. It's never done. It's not the case. So it is not true that your phone will be taken away from you. It is at a certain point when you are reaching a certain security place, which they didn't go to. Where they were was the public space that you can access, anybody can access, and you could have your phone with you at that point. Your phones were not taken from you if you go to the banquet hall. And the point I want to underscore here is that it will only become necessary if you are going into a certain meeting where you are required not to bring your phone, then it will be taken. But where they were operating, there isn't that requirement. There isn't any security protocol that specifies that your phone be taken away from you around that area. Okay. So what I am engaged in here, I see the angle people are pushing, but the substantial issue we have to deal with is that, okay, going forward, should we make rule or make reforms? And that's where, Umaru, I think the conversation should be focused, because what existed before Mick went to the Jubilee House was not a situation where they were supposed to be, their phones were supposed to be retrieved from them and somebody failed. That is not a situation. But people assuming that around here you can have your phone, and they were using their phone with an intention to create a video, and nobody actually thought that was what they were going to do, because there was no that intention, and the place was a public space. They could have their phones. So there is nothing wrong with them having their phones, except that, which is why he had to apologize, is that he then went a step further. The liberty accorded him to be there. Any Ghanaian can go there and have your phone. And if you want that today, tomorrow, you can go there and have your phone. And then,
Richard, I've already said that.
The only thing is that, wait, Umaru, it's very important.
Go ahead.
It's very important. So they had their phones there. The only problem now is that the liberty that was given to them, they took that liberty and sought to commercialize that in a music video, exposing that space that we accorded them the opportunity to go to. Now, the significant question we have to ask is that, should we then, based on what indiscretion they have exercised, should we now make a rule that nowhere in the Jubilee House would anybody at any given time be allowed phones, so that the entrance where you get clearance before you get to the main Jubilee House block, should we now begin to make the case that let's make a review of the protocols to say that you cannot cross any line? Then we can have that conversation. I think that that's
I think we already have that rule. I mean, anyone who visits the Jubilee House knows that you don't enter there with your phone.
No.
Unless you work there or you have special clearance. These people don't work there. They don't have special clearance. They are visitors. In fact, When the last time, no, hold on a second. The last time we went to the Jubilee House as journalists, I was there with Bernard Davle. It was the meet the press to ask questions of the president.
Yes,
we were told to keep
have the president.
No
there.
problem.
So I am saying,
hold on a second. We were told to put our phones away, and we had to hold notepads on which we wrote our questions. Because
very well. You are talking about two, Omaru. Just take your time. You are talking about two separate issues. Those individuals, where they were, and those recordings, you didn't see president over there. And at that place, they could have their phones. And I told you, Omaru, please, let's seek to inform. Now, I agree with the outrage. I agree that we should look at ways going forward that we can reform. But as you and I speak, at the time they went to the Jubilee House, there was no security requirement that at that point you couldn't have your phone at the public banquet hall. There was no requirement.
But you see, you keep mentioning banquet hall. But Richard, that is picking and choosing. When I have just explained that the video has different segments where the banquet hall is not the only place. Are you saying that all the places we saw them hold their phones? And again, let me even say that the man himself has said it's not a video phone. I mean, it's not a phone video, but rather a camera. Are you saying that they were allowed access in the Jubilee House with a camera?
I'm not sure the difference between, because a phone that I'm holding or your phone, Omaru, the phone I know you use, is more powerful than a camera. So it's not here nor there whether it's a phone or a camera.
But a camera.
No, wait, Omaru, wait. The problem here really is that, are you looking at the big picture, or you're just looking to sensationalize the situation?
No, I'm looking at why. If you come to Citi,
I am picking a situation. I'm picking a situation to address. Mm-hmm. I am not interested in sensationalizing the situation. The outrage is justified, but I'm saying that outrage having been justified, it's a condition that exists not just under this government, but all times when you go to that public space. Unless the president is there, and what meeting you're attending, or there's some private meeting where they don't want people to have their phones for purposes of taking out recordings from that place, you can have your phone. So if you go there and you're just presenting and there's just a discussion and people are presenting stuff, there isn't any need for people to be taking your phones away. So that allowed for them to have their phones there.
Okay.
Now with this problem...
And how about the drone? How about the drone?
I'm coming. Let's not just be interested in.
We don't have a lot of time. If you say phones are allowed because of a meeting, how about drones? Drones are also allowed if you're going to meet the president in the Jubilee House?
Omaru, what is important is that we want to address a problem. It is not about what here, what there. The point is that we need a reform or a review of the status quo that says that at this point, you can't cross here with a phone.
Yeah, before you review, you have to admit your wrongs. Are you admitting that you accepted those drones and the camera without the necessary considerations that you should have put in place?
I'm saying that. I've answered that question for you, Maru. I'm saying that there is no preclusion, there is no way, there is no restriction as we speak that you cannot go to the banquet hall with your phone having been taken from you. It is not a rule there now as we speak.
The technical people, the camera people have said to me that you cannot fly a drone around the Jubilee House because it's a security zone. Just a second. I am mentioning it because we are told that that's what was used to capture the video.
You should talk to a security person. I'm not speaking about drone.
No, you don't get me. Let me land the question and then you would understand. We have been told you cannot fly a drone in or around the Jubilee House, and yet these people were flying a video to do a drone to do the video that they did. When they were moving around the Jubilee House, inside and outside, they don't have a chaperone, a security person who was moving with them, who would have noticed that, these guys, what they are doing could actually be problematic. Let's stop them from filming further because they've gone beyond their permissions.
Yeah, so what point you have raised, I'm sure it will be part of an internal review mechanisms that is going on to understand how all of this came about. But the fact of the matter is what I'm telling you, that having access to those things at the place they were is not bad at this point. Now, what other people go there, they hold their phones and nothing like that has happened. They decided to abuse the access they had. And I'm saying that as a country looking at the bigger picture, we should now be having a substantial conversation about, instead of seeking to sensationalize this and say this and that, we should say that, we are calling on Jubilee House security, please reform this.
make sure that anybody who is coming to the Jubilee House, by the time they cross the security, the first checkpoint at the hospital or at the clinic there, take their phones. We are saying
it has always been the rule. It has always been the rule, Rich. I don't know.
I'm telling you, it's not.
I am telling you, it is. I'm telling you, working. Your party is in power, so you may be able to enter Jubilee with your phone.
No.
I enter Jubilee with my phone collected and a tag given me, and that happens.
Wait.
Because what?
On what occasions do you go there?
Oh, a number of times. I go there for meet. I go there during Meet the Press series. There are times I go there.
Hold on. Let me explain to you. It's a protocol, and it's subject to the event. Just last time, our party, we had a national council, right? It is not at the Jubilee House. It's not at the party office. It was at a different location. But me, as a national officer, to go into that meeting, my phone was taken away from me and put in an envelope. It's subject to the event.
Okay, no problem.
So if you are going to meet the press situation or some of the times situations that you're going to, there is a requirement for camera to be there, and those who have the camera are clear to bring their cameras for recording and for other purposes. So if you are screened out not to have it there, it is subject to that event. Okay. But what I am telling you is that when we are looking at the big picture and we want to fix problem rather than sensationalize things that have happened, then we should then focus on what can we do to prevent this.
So your view is that what is happening now is sensationalism and not reporting of what has happened?
I'm just trying to differentiate between the issues. What we should be focused on is the substance. And the substance is to say that how do we prevent this?
We've created... Would we see an apology from... Would there be an apology from Jubilee House?
I'm not Jubilee House.
Okay. Would anybody be fired for this gaffe?
But Gomaru, you have to have a conversation with me at the level so I can give you the information I'm able to. I'm only letting you understand.
Okay, I'll not drag you into it then.
Omaru, otherwise you are forcing me to say you are sensationalizing rather than solving the problem.
You've already said that. You have every right to say what you have said. I also have my right to ask my question. But let's leave it here, Richard, because there's some breaking news. One of your ministers has resigned. I have to tell my listeners. But thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you, Omaru.
That's Richard Ahiagba, his Director of Communications of the New Patriotic Party. The breaking news story is that the Minister for Agriculture and the former Member of Parliament has resigned. Dr. Osu Akute-Friye presented his letter to President Akufo-Addo a while ago at the Jubilee House. That's according to our correspondent at the presidency, Sami Uyafi. He's resigning to focus on his presidential ambition. He wants to lead the NPP into the 2024 election. President Akufo-Addo, who accepted the resignation, wished him well in all his endeavors. The message that correspondent is sending to us also says that Dr. Akoto's resignation comes days after Trade Minister Alan Chemate also resigned from the government to focus on his presidential ambition. So that's just some way of breaking news that is coming through. Dr. Efri Akoto, the Minister for Agriculture, has resigned to run as flag bearer of the NPP. Unfortunately, we couldn't bring you the other story on Data Bank, but the news is that Data Bank has resumed its operations, and this was after the bank closed following what it says was threats on its staff by customers who had come there wanting to withdraw their funds. That's how we end tonight's edition of Eyewitness News. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadou. Technical production by Daniel Squashi. Main production by Beverly London, Fred Tete Japano, and Zoe Abubedo Ado. We return tomorrow at 17:30 GMT. Thank you for listening. Good night.